On this episode of Fully Road, I'm going to pull the engine out of the 64 Sprint GT. Now, removing the engine and gearbox from an Alfa 105 is actually pretty easy. However, it just takes a long time. There's a lot of stuff around the engine that takes a while to get through, like the radiator and the exhaust system. So I'm going to get busy with all of that, and hopefully sooner than later we can get this old damaged 1600 out and get it with all those engines behind there, and get this car back to a bare shell. Right, so I was in here pretty late last night, and I gotten out the front part of the exhaust, the manifolds, and the front of the prop shaft, and some brackets. That's a chassis brace. Then this huge electrical storm came over and knocked out the power, so I had to kind of call it a night. I put the lift down to a safe level. I didn't want to leave it up overnight, and the power is still not back on. So I'm just gonna have to leave the car at this level and keep going this morning. Yeah, there's not much else really to do. The next thing I've got to drain is the cooling system. However, these early 105s don't have a proper drain on the radiator. They've got this little valve that's down there that sprays coolant everywhere when you open it. So I'm gonna try and catch as much of it as I can and save it, because it's good stuff and it lasts a lifetime. But I am going to also pull off the carburetors and the engine mount on this side before I try and lift the engine out. So I'm going to start undoing all those items, and we'll get back once it's ready to come out the car. Got this engine bay looking pretty bare now. I've dropped that anti-roll bar on the bottom just out of the way, so when I lift the engine up, the sump doesn't catch on it, and it's trapped inside the sump guard at the moment, but it shouldn't be a problem. I've already disconnected the gear shifter inside, and everything seems to be ready to go. The only thing left to do to haul this all out is to disconnect the idler arm, the steering box idler arm, this thing over here, and that will drop the drag link out of the way, and then the gearbox should be able to clear it. Now I'm going to get under here and just undo the bolts on the transmission mounting, and undo these bolts on the idler arm, and it should be free to go. And then we'll hook up the engine crane, which is over there, and pull this engine out for good. Right, I've got everything undone. I'm going to try and get this done as quickly as possible because there's no electricity. I have no batteries left for this DSLR that I'm filming on. So I've got a GoPro on the engine crane, and that should capture a lot. So I'm going to get cracking on this, and this shouldn't take too long. I'm going to get this engine out nice and quickly. Right, after much effort, I have this thing out, and I have made a spectacular mess of it. Of course, I didn't drain the oil before I lifted this thing out, and it all ran out the back oil breather, which on early 105s is quite low down the block, so all the oil just tipped out of there, went down the gearbox, and landed mostly on the floor. That is an enormous fail. Yeah, so drain the oil before you haul the engine out of an early 105, because it will just go everywhere. Right, I have now got a red battery light flashing on the camera, and it's about to shut off, and of course there's still no electricity, so I can't charge up. So I'm going to call this quits for this episode. I'm going to clean up this enormous, great big mess, and I'll see you next time on For the Road. Thanks for watching.